So, bring it on, mosquito. There's so many mosquitoes right here, and I have about 1 inch of mosquito repellent all over me, so I'm like, bring it on, you little bastards. Here comes the complimentary plane in the background. So I hope you noticed, but as I move along doing these videos, that's a noisy plane. As I've been moving along doing these videos, I try to stick me in the tight, tiny little corner of the screen and give a lot of backdrop. So maybe you might get lucky and somebody will spot some kind of wildlife in the background while I'm doing this. Right? Eventually it'll happen. It's happened before. Maybe it'll happen again. So, here's another one. It's just endless. These emails are endless. I have literally thousands and thousands of emails from around the planet. Why these things aren't being spoken about publicly, and why the children aren't fed the knowledge of what's going on, honestly, is absolutely mind-boggling to me. It actually kind of makes me sick. It just makes you sad, in a slight way, when you realize how fiercely we're being lied to as a group. And okay, I could ramble about that for quite a while. I'll stop myself, but you know what I mean. But the good, honest people are really grouping together right now. I'll tell you what, it's pretty overwhelming. It's pretty cool. So we're making progress. Now listen to this. I titled this My Dad's Sasquatch Experience, this email. My dad is a very seasoned hunter, with many medals awarded to him for his hunting. I'm guessing those are probably trophies. We have animal taxidermy all over our home, and my dad is a very proud hunter. Anyways, here's what my dad told me the other day. He said he'd forgotten about it until I was there with him that day with my husband talking about Sasquatch. He has never told anyone, and had even forgotten about this experience until this day. It was like, ding, and my dad all of a sudden pops out with this story. So, my dad and his good buddy are at their friend's house having a great time about 25 years ago. Their friend had an enormous amount of property with many species, including a 4-point buck my dad was after. It gets to be about 2 a.m., so my dad and his buddy head out to hunt all night. They started heading to a well-known area where these deer have been seen recently. All of a sudden, about 200 yards from the house, both my dad and his buddy hear the loudest, intense, bone-chilling, loud as F scream come from behind them towards the area of the house. When he said this, the first thing that came to mind was an infrasound that people talk about regarding Sasquatch screams and it affecting his physical body. My dad said that loud isn't even a strong enough word for the sound this creature made. It rattled him to his core. He felt the sound in his body, in his chest. My dad and his buddy both looked at each other, cocked their guns, ready to face whatever this creature was. Well, next thing you knew, he was waking up the next day outside on the ground with his gun beside him, exactly where they were standing the night before. There was a 4-point buck sniffing at him and looking at him. As they both came to, the buck got spooked as my dad and his buddy were waking up and saw what was in front of them. I guess you could say they all spooked each other. Anyways, as my dad is waking up after the deer took off, he was feeling very confused. He turned to his buddy and asked him, "Is the last thing you remember is us cocking our guns?" And his buddy confirmed it with a yes. And that is how he ended the story. Needless to say, I had to pick up my jaw off the ground after hearing the story. They never ended up seeing anything or remembering anything. And it's also weird that he has never spoken of this until that day. My husband and I are interested in Sasquatch and all things paranormal. We also watch your channel all the time. Logging truck. Well, I just felt the logs I'm sitting on shimmy. It's kind of hard to imagine that a truck 70 yards away made that happen. That was kind of weird. Wow. Huh. Yeah, that was weird. Alright. There's so many mosquitoes around me. We watch your video you put out and we truly admire what you do. Thank you for giving us all a voice. I truly believe that my dad and his buddy had an interdimensional Sasquatch experience. What happened to him and his buddy in those hours they lost? What happened to him and his buddy in those hours they lost? Did they encounter Sasquatch? Were they protected? Did Sasquatch protect the deer from them? Who knows? All I can say is that I'm glad my dad is alive and well. He's definitely physically okay, but who knows what he's going through emotionally and even spiritually from this incredibly intense experience. Allie from Sonoma County, California. Alright. Thanks for that email, Allie. And that's definitely a new flavor of experience emailed to me. If anybody else out there has had something similar, feel free to email me. And after reading it, I felt compelled to text my buddy Dave Politis with the story, and I texted to him. And he took interest in it, and he, as you know, Allie, I hope he's contacted your dad by now. I really want to talk to him about that experience. And who knows what'll come of that. And that's another interesting thing, too, what's happened lately. There's been a few people gone missing on Mount Rainier. The past few weeks. And if you look into missing persons on Mount Rainier, there is a shit ton of them. There is numerous people gone missing on that mountain. And numerous people gone missing in numerous places around North America, actually the world. And isn't it absolutely amazing that these topics aren't shared with us, aren't absolutely focused on from any of the news outlets or mainstream media? Isn't that absolutely amazing? It is to me. I mean, just over the hill from where I live, Dave went into the mountains to look into a cluster of missing persons. That goes ahead of the Pitt River area in British Columbia, and there's something 50 or 60 people have gone missing there. And still to this day, people go missing around these areas. And you know, and infants, children go missing. It's just so bizarre. It's so bizarre that these incidents aren't absolutely focused on and being drilled into our faces and have our attention from concerned news outlets. It's just mind-boggling. I mean, these experiences of people going missing should be plastered in our faces above almost anything, nonstop. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, especially some of these absurd, abnormal cases in which Dave's investigated, including children, toddlers showing up 2 or 3 mountain drainages away, or up onto a mountaintop, dead without shoes on, and no explanation and no attention given. Isn't that absolutely mind-boggling? It's almost like we should be ashamed of ourselves for not focusing on these very important stories and experiences and getting our entire community focused on it and aware. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I had a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5-year-old, I'm pretty certain I would want to know what was going on in a particular area where previous young children were taken and had gone missing and showed up dead numerous times. Don't you think that would be a priority story, a priority topic for anybody, especially on mainstream news outlets or even the newspaper, local news channels, anything? It's like, come on, you guys, get your heads out of your asses. But nope, society still wants to feed on what our local blow-ass celebrities are doing, right? What are they wearing? Who are they sleeping with? Or whatever drama's been invading their ridiculous lives, their lifestyles. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I'm pretty tired and beat up. But I don't know. I just hope that one day everybody bands together, all the intelligent, aware people, and swings a shit ton of focus on what should be focused on right now during our lifetimes, so that we can get a grasp on what's going on, deal with it, fix it, prevent it, whatever we need to do. But there's a shit pile of stuff going on that needs our attention, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then to all you people who were following me previously with all the hunting videos and stories, yes, I will get back at it. Obviously, I got to get back out hunting too to create some more stories, and I will be shortly. And for all you guys, I am going to video document the next trip coming up, where we're going remote for stone sheep, and I'm going to videotape every single moment I can to that trip, so I can bring back the content and share it with you guys here. And that'll be an epic trip. It'll be an epic trip. I previously did 3 weeks and 150 miles on foot near this area, and for some unfortunate string of events, we had to bail out on that trip. And I always vowed I'd get it back, and that is a big part of the motivation of what I'm doing today as I prepare to go on that trip. And of course, there's going to be many more hunting excursions after that as well that will be documented and shared with you guys on the channel. So there you go. Just to give you guys a heads up, there's a lot more hunting coming. It's not hunting season right now, but whether you like it or not, these people need a voice, these people need support, and these topics are far more important than frickin' hunting stories to me right now. All right? So again, share my story at howtohunt.com, or tell my story at howtohunt.com, and get it off your chest and drop it in the safe place here, and get some support.